Hey, what's going on, guys? By popular demand, in today's video, we're going to be checking out Bandai's recent line of HG Macross kits here in 1/100 scale. I know it might sound a little bit confusing to a lot of you guys. If you're typically building a lot of Gunpla, you may think of HG's 144 scale and 1/100 scale's master grade, isn't it? But it's a little bit different here, of course, for these. Anyway, the line's been going on for a little while now, and you guys have recommended that I check it out. I'm not a huge Macross fan generally, but the kits do look really nice, so I wanted to check one of them out. So from Macross Delta, this is the Siegfried Hayate Immelmann use, and this is the Deluxe set version. So Bandai has recently been making these where they release them as a standard version and as the Deluxe. So the Deluxe set comes with more stuff in there. Basically, it includes an acrylic stand of the character, and then it also includes water slides, I believe, in here, special water slides, and then they do also sell water slide sets separately for these as well. So we'll talk some more about that. But for now, let's go ahead and check out the box and the contents, and then we'll get to the kit. And so because this is the Deluxe set, it's letting us know right there, and also that this is a shortcut change. I believe what that's denoting is just the fact that it's a parts forming and not like fully transforming here between the two. So just to kind of differentiate from Bandai's other like older Macross kits that are fully transforming, these are not, which I'm kind of all for personally. I prefer parts forming for HG kits. But then of course we've got this large illustration here of Freya, which is going to be representative of the smaller scale. Well, I don't know exactly how big the acrylic stand is going to be, but when we have this acrylic stand that's going to be included, as well as a bunch of water slide decals of like the same illustration that basically you can use for your build. So kind of similar to like an RG, how we have this close-up CG render of the head and then like the full body over here on the side, but showing it in multiple different modes there. In Batroid, Gerwalk, and Fighter mode. And on the ends of the box, just going to be the same thing here with the Macross Delta image over there on the side, Freya, and then you have the here in Fighter mode on the other end of the box. You have it there in Batroid mode, the Siegfried. On the bottom of the box here is letting us know some of what the replacement parts are going to be that are used for transforming it, and it's showing it here in the different modes and what are some of the features. You have an actual opening cockpit and pilot figures seated inside there. We've got a bunch of stickers. We'll see how those work. That's been one of the things I've noticed about the few Macross kits that I've built before. They do tend to be rather sticker heavy. And then we do have what looks like a small 1/100 scale pilot figure of Freya, and then to go along with our, as I said, acrylic stand there. On the other side of the box here, just showing it in Batroid mode, front and back. And there's a little bit more about the story and characters right there. So all right, a lot of cool stuff there on the outside of the box, of course, but let's go ahead and check out the contents inside. So this looks to be like our acrylic stand, and the decals are here. Let's go ahead and check out the acrylic stand first. We have the main part and then the little stand here. Cleaning that together, it does look really nice on the back side. Oh, that's cool. It's one of those ones where it actually is not the same image on the front and the back, but it actually has the back side of the character printed on the back here. So that's really cool. Obviously doesn't have the acrylic, clear acrylic finish over the top of that, but that does look really nice, and they're on the base as well. The height of this appears to be right about 11 centimeters in height, so it's a good size there too. And then as for the water slide decals here, we've got the Tactical Sound Unit Valkyr Freya Weon. Probably mispronouncing that, and you Macross fans are going to get after me on that. I apologize. Again, this is not a franchise that I'm not familiar with, but a really nice mix of decals here. You have just kind of like the main illustration there in full, and then smaller versions of that, cropped versions of that. You have like this kind of heart versions, these different like Delta versions here. So a bunch of different like variations of the decals, and it looks really, really nice. The sticker sheet then here is also really interesting in that, as you can see, it has sort of like a satin finish to it, which is different from like your normal foil stickers, usually kind of very shiny. So it should blend with the plastic really quite nicely. It's interesting. And then the material is also a little bit different in that it's like this very thin foil paper, kind of like a plastic foil. Should just get some tweezers here to show it to you properly, but yeah, it's a very interesting kind of material here, different from your normal foil stickers, so it seems like it might actually work pretty good, but we'll see how those look on the kit. All right, so then before we check out the runners, let's check out the instruction manual here. You have this additional page that's included for the Deluxe set, basically just kind of letting you know what's included with the Deluxe set, the decals and the acrylic stand, and that's really kind of about it. And the main instructions here are in a horizontal format, which is different from what we're seeing if you build a lot of Gunpla. Here on the backside is the marking location as well as the color guide. As you can see, it's pretty extensive. Everything here is in Japanese and in English, which is nice. On the front inside, we do have our parts list here, a little bit about the shortcut change, going between the different modes, kind of showing the order of how you do that and which parts you're going to omit for that. So as it goes, you're just going to build it here, it looks like in Batroid mode first, and then it'll go through building the different parts and sections that you need in order to transform it. It looks like we're putting stickers on kind of all along the way as well. So it'll certainly be a little bit different building process, building one of these than building like your standard Gundam model or whatever, which is what I'm usually building a lot of from Bandai. It all looks pretty cool. The last page here being in color, just kind of going over the last bit of the instructions. It looks like including the landing gear there that it's got for fighter mode. And yeah, let's check out the runners here, starting off with runner A. No polycaps here with this. You'll notice we have this part here for the canopy in a kind of like clear gold, sort of very interesting color there. A little almost gross looking, I dare say, but it should look good once it's actually on the kit. Yeah, this sort of purplish gray color there throughout, and then some really nice looking clear pink up there at the top, and one piece there in a clear fluorescent green. And just to test this here with the black light, you can see that fluorescent green is certainly lighting up really brightly there for the eyes. The pink less so, and the canopy less so there as well, but the eyes will shine really brightly under UV light. All right, then a bunch of bright white armor pieces here with runners B1 and B2 here to start. There's those. Runners C, we've got one of those, and then runner D we have two of for the rest of our white armor pieces. Runner E is going to be here in this nice blue color there. Runner F, some more parts in that kind of purplish shade of medium gray. Runner G here in a kind of standard dark gray color here for a bunch of the frame parts, parts for the hand, joints, and weapons parts on there. And the same thing here for runner H as well. We've got two of runner H. As you can tell, we got quite a lot of parts here with this kit. Runner I1 is a couple of parts here in black. Runner J here is a multi-injected runner, like what you would see with like a real grade kit or something, except these are not moving parts, but it's multicolor injected with blue and white injected here on these parts for the wings. That looks really cool. And then lastly, runner K1 here in this metallic red is going to be our little 1/100 scale Freya figure there, which does look pretty nice. That's it for all the runners. Let me go ahead and get this put together and we'll check it out. Alright guys, then here is the kit all put together straight out of the box without doing anything else to it other than just adding the stickers on there. The building process was very interesting, quite unique building this compared to a lot of Gunpla and a lot of other like HG type of model kits that I've built. Obviously this one is just kind of totally different in its design, and I'm really interested to see how the transformation is going to work with this, as that's going to be kind of like one of the major aspects of this kit though. But despite being like this kind of long, skinny, lanky kind of design, the kit does feel really solid. All the joints feel like nice and solid in hand. So the construction of the kit itself is really nice, kind of no surprise there. I will say I did not enjoy putting on all the stickers on there, and I did put most of the stickers on. We'll talk a little bit more about that, but that definitely slowed the construction process down quite a bit, having to put all those stickers on, which of course is not entirely necessary, but other than that, definitely a really cool kit here. Let's go ahead and check out our included accessories to get us started off, and then we'll get into the transformation. So for its main weaponry, you've got kind of the rifle, which is stored up here on the backpack as a cannon, but that can be removed from there. This of course has a couple stickers there on top and on the sides. It has this little bit here that you can fold down so that you can more easily kind of pop this into the weapon holding hands. You can close that back up, and the back end also is going to slide back there like that. So that's the main rifle weapon. You do also have a set of these two knives that, when not in use, don't really have anywhere to store on the kit. So those are just gonna be, again, held in your hand options. And I'm happy to say that we do have some pretty nice hand options with this, aside from closed fists, which is always nice and always very appreciated to have with any HG kit. We've got this open hand here for the left side only, which can be a sort of like rifle support hand here, or just open expressive hand, as well as these open posing hands here with the middle fingers crossed and the thumb folded in like that. You got those for the left and the right side. And then our regular weapon holding hands here, which are gonna be for the knives, basically, that you got for the left and the right side, and you will have to swap the backs from the other hands for those. You don't have enough for all of the hands, unfortunately. And then we have this trigger finger hand here that has this kind of differently shaped wrist to be able to get in and hold the rifle weapon. So that's what you're going to use for that. We've got this little character model here of Freya that you can put on an action base. That'll just sit on top of a regular action base 3mm like peg there. So this is just gonna be molded in like a metallic red and then white for the kind of base part there. And then this is getting into like some of the transformation parts. We have this section for like the nose cone with some really cool clear parts there, including the canopy, and there's black stickers that go around the edges of the canopy there. When you open that up, you've got a few different options for the characters that you want to put inside. Some are like with the helmets on and some are with the helmets off. There's two of your different options there, and basically you can choose from like any set of two, or like the back one, you can have it just be this, which I'm guessing is just supposed to be some sort of like computer or something, basically for the second pilot instead of like two humans or whatever. But there is three other additional little pilot characters there. I think that one's supposed to be Freya. They're so small, it's kind of hard to tell. This is another one just in a pilot suit, and another one here that I think that one's also meant to be Freya there in a pilot suit. So you've got a few different options there for that. We've also got our landing gear parts. So if you're wanting to display the kit in a fighter mode and with the landing gear out, just to have it like just on the ground, we've got landing gear there for that, which looks pretty nice. And then other than that, in the nose cone, there's a few other parts here that are just kind of part swapping parts, part of the transformation, like parts that go for the legs and different arm sections. This transformed part for like the top of the head here basically. And so there's not really a ton of those really. So while it is going to be a parts forming kit and not fully transforming, it seem like, you know, probably 80% of the kit is going to be fully transforming. There's just a couple of bits that you're going to have to part swap. So not necessarily a whole lot. But before we get into that, just a couple more things to note, just kind of about the general construction of this and the stickers. I do really like the clear parts there, the clear green and clear pink there for the head, the clear pink parts here in the chest as well. There were a couple of stickers that go like on the top of the head. And I found just with the stickers, as long as they're over like kind of a mostly flat area, they're kind of okay, but it's only over like curved surfaces or like bumped, kind of like that rounded part there on the top of the head is where there's a sticker that's supposed to fit over that, and there's just no way it's gonna fit. Like even on these parts on the front of the wing, you can see that little like trapezoid there in like kind of the front corner is meant to be like a raised detail. You can see how the sticker is not wanting to like fit around that shape or flat over it, so it's kind of like a little kind of like bubble shape around it. You can kind of see that a bit up here in these parts in the weapon up on the top of the backpack there as well. But there's a lot of these small little color apps here and there, which are just made up as stickers. But then we do have some of those parts, like these wing parts, for example, where it was like both the colors were actually molded in, which is really cool. So it would have been nice to maybe see a little bit more of that, but like obviously they can't do that like for every bit. So like this part here on the front of the waist section, just these little gray line stickers that go around that, these gray lines that go here on like the side of the thigh, and then like here for the knee as well. So there's just a lot of little color apps, and even with all the stickers on here, there's still missing color apps. There's still more that they could have done, but I mean, you guys saw the sticker sheet that we were working with. So just on the note of the articulation, it is going to be really nice. We got a double joint in the elbow that's going to give you a full bend. Oh, and I forgot these weapons here as well. I think these are also meant to be like kind of beam guns or something here that fold out on the back of the forearm there, like that. The hips are connected via just a ball and socket joint, which I would normally kind of complain about, but they don't really seem to inhibit the articulation all that much, as you can still get the legs out in a pretty wide pose there. Obviously bringing the legs up to the front or back is not going to be an issue at all, and then we do have a full bend there at the knee as well. Up underneath the feet, you got some nice detail up in there. Obviously these are going to kind of close up there as part of the transformation, but overall it seems the articulation of this is going to be really nice. You do even have a little bit of ab crunch here in the midsection, not a whole lot other than just rotation there at this very small little midpoint connection. And then the head as well is also able to point up pretty nice and far. Maybe a little bit more would have been nice, but that's a pretty good amount for that to be able to point up for some really nice flying poses and go pretty nice and far down there as well, like that. So the range of articulation is pretty good. Let's go ahead and try transforming it though. There we have it. There it is in Gerwalk mode. Honestly, I kind of really like it. I've always been a little partial to Gerwalk mode. I thought it was a kind of cool combination, sort of halfway fighter jet, halfway kind of walking humanoid robot there. So that's pretty awesome. And then of course the hands and arms are still free to use the weapons in any way that you might want to use that. I feel like this is probably like the least like battle effective though, realistically speaking. I don't know. Feels like you're kind of making some sacrifices to either mode, but I'm not sure. Anyway, let's go ahead and move on then to checking out in fighter mode. All right, there it is in fighter mode. Relatively simple transformation there as well. Looks really nice. You got your hard point still there hanging out on the bottom, and you can see this panel here on the bottom side is the one you're going to pull out in order to put the landing gear there. For the back landing gear, you're basically kind of replacing these parts that are there for the knees. You're going to take those out and replace those here for that landing gear. Then here on the top, there's another kind of cool little gimmick. This panel here, you can take off and kind of reposition, remove that off the top of there, and then put it back in this kind of forward position like that. You can have that kind of opened up, and I don't really know what that's meant to be. We can kind of see the detail inside of there. That was kind of cool. But anyway, guys, there you have it in the 3 modes. They're all really kind of cool and present kind of different opportunities for how you might want to display the kit. And I think that's probably one of the things that a lot of people like about Macross model kits. As myself, just not being like super into the franchise, you know, this model kit is not necessarily going to turn me into a Macross fan overnight. I'm not going to go out and watch the anime, just like binge watch the whole thing front to back. And I know there's multiple series and all that as well, but it was certainly a fun model kit to put together, something different, and I definitely appreciate that. So I mean, if you're like me and maybe not, you know, super into Macross as a series, but you're just looking for something a little bit different to build, it certainly makes for a really nice model kit. And as I was saying before, you've just got all that really fantastic detail on there. Now, whether you want to just use the stickers, which I think look pretty decent, you know, as you're seeing it now without any panel lining and just with the stickers on there, I think it doesn't look too bad. It would obviously look better if you were to at least panel line it and then maybe put some top coat on it and do all that. Make sure not to spray matte top coat on the clear parts. Always keep that in mind. But, you know, a little bit of work would certainly go a long way. But, you know, if you don't want to use the stickers, but you do want to have it, you know, looking all proper with all the color separation and everything, and there's obviously just going to be a ton of masking involved. And so it's certainly going to be a lot of work. So, I mean, if you really want it to look, you know, completely accurate as it's supposed to, it's going to be a lot of work. But if you're, you know, normally someone that does build and paint Macross model kits, that's probably something that you're used to. As far as just like the deluxe versus the normal version, I mean, the deluxe is definitely really nice. If you're a particular, you know, big fan of this particular unit or this particular character, having the acrylic standee and those extra waterslide decals are really cool. I have no idea what I might ultimately use those waterslide decals for at the moment. Some of them, I suppose, in theory would fit on this, but especially like the larger ones would not fit anywhere on this kit, so you'd have to use them like on something else. You could use them like on a display base or something like that, I suppose, like the larger decals. But yeah, the deluxe version is nice. That said, if you don't really care about the decals and or the standee, then just getting the normal version is certainly a way to just get the model kit and save a little bit of money. But the transformation was easy. I don't mind at all that it's parts forming. You will have a little bit of like leftover unused parts, no matter which version you go for, no matter which configuration. But I always prefer parts forming over fully transforming if that means that the kit is just going to be a more solid kit overall, because sometimes, you know, a fully transforming kit is nice, but that can sometimes cause issues just with the stability of the kit overall. So I don't mind that at all, especially when it comes to HGs. So I actually found the transformation to be simpler and easier than even I was expecting. So all in all, really cool kit, definitely worth checking out, guys. If you have not checked out the HG line of Bandai's new Macross model kits, I would definitely recommend checking them out. And of course, you can do that at the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. You can check out what we have available there on the website. But as for me, I enjoyed this one. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And thanks so much for checking out the video here today. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future videos. And if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like as well. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, guys. See you next time.